Welcome back to the Healing in Old Age, where East meets West to uncover the real secrets to aging well. Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling slower lately? Maybe your balance isn't what it used to be, or your memory, just a bit foggier than you'd like. Most people chalk that up to getting older. But what if that's not the full story? Today's episode is a quiet wake-up call. Because what we call aging is often something else entirely, a slow and silent form of malnutrition. Yes, even if you're eating regularly, you could still be missing the very nutrients your body depends on to think clearly, move confidently, and stay independent. Joining us again today is someone who truly understands the difference between aging and thriving, a man who lived and worked with clarity well into his 100s. We're honored to welcome back Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara, Japan's oldest practicing physician and a true legend in both medicine and longevity. Today, he's here to share something powerful. Not a new supplement, not a miracle cure, but a return to what the body truly needs and often lacks as we get older. We're going to walk through 5 essential vitamins, the ones most commonly missing in people over 60, that directly affect your strength, your memory, and your freedom. Because here's the truth. Aging isn't just about time passing. It's about what fades silently from within, and what you can still restore. So if you've been feeling not quite yourself lately, stay with us. This conversation could be the beginning of something better. Let's begin. Let me tell you a quiet truth that most people overlook. Your body doesn't fall apart overnight. It erodes slowly, silently, often from the inside out. And one of the most underestimated culprits? Micronutrient deficiencies. You don't feel them right away. There's no loud alarm, no sudden collapse. Just a little less energy in the morning. A name that takes longer to recall. A moment of wobble when you get up from a chair. That's how it begins. And over time, muscles start to shrink, bones lose their strength, the brain becomes foggy, and your body takes longer to recover from even small setbacks. Here's the twist. Many seniors are not starving, they're undernourished. You might eat 3 meals a day. You might even eat healthy. But as we age, our bodies absorb fewer nutrients, even from the same foods we used to thrive on. Stomach acid declines, which is crucial for unlocking vitamins like B12. Medications for acid reflux, diabetes, high blood pressure can further block nutrient absorption. Appetite shrinks, meals become simpler, and often, we cut out key foods like meat, fish, or fermented products, thinking it's the safer choice. But the result? A body that looks fine on the outside, while quietly running on empty inside. And that's the danger. Deficiency doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you don't catch it early, it chips away at your strength, memory, balance, and independence. So today, we're not just talking about aging, we're talking about what might be missing. And more importantly, how you can get it back. Let's talk about something small, but powerful. It's not a fancy supplement. It doesn't promise overnight miracles. But it might just be the missing link between feeling sharp and feeling lost. It's called vitamin B12. And after the age of 60, your body might be begging for it, without you even realizing. Now here's the science in simple terms. Vitamin B12 protects the myelin sheath, that's like the insulation around your nerves. It keeps signals fast, precise, and clear, kind of like the coating around a wire, no insulation. And the signal gets fuzzy. So what happens when B12 runs low? You might feel it as fatigue. You might notice your memory slipping. Or maybe it's tingling hands, heavier legs, a subtle sadness that you can't explain. These aren't just quirks of aging. They could be whispers of a deficiency. And the scary part? After 60, your stomach naturally produces less acid, and without that acid, B12 can't be properly absorbed from food. Even if you're eating well, your brain might still be starving. Left uncorrected, a B12 deficiency can lead to brain shrinkage. Yes, shrinkage, and in some cases, irreversible cognitive decline. I've met patients who thought they were developing early dementia, but all they needed was a boost of B12. Within weeks, they were clearer, brighter, themselves again. So let me ask you, have you checked your B12 levels recently? Have you felt foggy, numb, or off, but couldn't explain why? Because sometimes the answer isn't more effort. It's more nourishment. Vitamin B12 isn't optional. It's foundational. It's the body's quiet guardian, and it deserves your attention. Let me ask you something that most people overlook. When was the last time your doctor checked your vitamin D3 levels? Because after 60, this vitamin doesn't just help, it leads. Vitamin D3 isn't just a vitamin, it acts more like a master hormone, quietly influencing how your body defends itself, moves, and even thinks. Think about this: without enough D3, your immune system stumbles, your bones weaken, muscles lose strength, and your mood? It might spiral without warning. You might feel blue, withdrawn, unmotivated, and not realize it's a chemical imbalance, not just getting older. And here's the part no one talks about. Low D3 also inflames the brain. Not in a dramatic, visible way, but in tiny, chronic waves that slowly chip away at memory, learning, and clarity. I've seen patients walk into clinics with stiff joints, low energy, and foggy thoughts. They think it's aging, but it's not. It's inflammation, and often it's linked to low vitamin D3. In Japan, where graceful aging is a cultural priority, vitamin D3 levels are monitored just like blood pressure. Why? Because they know, without D3, the entire system begins to fail quietly. The tragedy is, you can't always feel the deficiency until it's already caused damage. And modern life doesn't help. We spend more time indoors. Wear sunscreen, eat less oily fish. The sun can't help if we never see it. So, let me ask you this. Are you treating vitamin D3 like a daily essential, or just a supplement you forget in the cabinet? Because D3 isn't just about bones. It's about balance, clarity, and resilience. Your body isn't asking for much, just a little sunlight, a little support, and your attention. And when you give it that, it remembers how to heal. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine calcium as traffic. Good, strong traffic. It builds roads, your bones, maintains bridges, your teeth, and keeps the whole city, your body, upright. Now, imagine there's no traffic controller. That's what happens when your body lacks vitamin K2, a silent, often missing nutrient that tells calcium where to go and, more importantly, where not to go. With enough K2, calcium gets parked in your bones, where it belongs. But without it, that same calcium starts drifting into arteries, joints, kidneys, even the brain. The result? Hardened blood vessels, stiff joints, increased risk of Alzheimer's and heart disease. And you might never know it until it's too late. People think, I'm getting enough calcium, my bones should be fine. But here's the truth. Calcium without K2 is like soldiers without a general, they cause chaos. In Japan, we get a lot of K2 from fermented foods like natto, a sticky soybean dish, and aged cheeses or organ meats. But in the West, these are rare. Modern diets are low in K2, which quietly raises the risk of problems later in life. I once had a viewer write in, I eat yogurt every day. Isn't that enough? Not quite. Most Western dairy is pasteurized and low in K2. Unless you're actively including fermented foods or supplementing, chances are, you're running low. So let me ask you, could your stiffness, your fatigue, your forgetfulness, be linked not just to age, but to misplaced calcium? Vitamin K2 doesn't get headlines, but it protects your heart, sharpens your brain, and keeps your bones strong. It doesn't just extend life, it protects the quality of it. So tonight, when you think about health, don't just ask, am I getting enough calcium? Ask, is that calcium going to the right place? Because aging gracefully isn't just about what you eat, it's about how your body uses it. Let me ask you something you might never have connected before. Have your muscles felt tighter lately? Sleep a little lighter? Do you sometimes feel anxious, foggy, or low in energy, but can't quite explain why? Well, it might not be stress. It might be magnesium, or more accurately, the lack of it. Magnesium is one of those minerals we rarely talk about, but it's behind the scenes of over 300 processes in your body. It helps control nerve signals, regulates blood sugar, manages muscle contractions, and even balances mood and sleep. In short, it's the quiet stabilizer keeping your body and brain in sync. But here's the problem, most of us are running low. Why? Because modern farming depletes the soil. Processed foods, which dominate most diets, strip magnesium completely. And as we age, our bodies lose the ability to retain what little we get. Even if you think you're eating healthy, you still might be missing it. I once spoke with a retired nurse who was puzzled by her chronic fatigue and tight shoulders. She exercised, she ate well, but always felt off. After testing, her magnesium levels were low. A simple shift, more leafy greens, sesame seeds, mineral broth, and a gentle supplement, changed everything. Her sleep deepened, her moods stabilized, her body finally exhaled. Low magnesium isn't loud, it doesn't cause pain right away. But it whispers, through poor sleep, joint stiffness, forgetfulness, and rising tension. And over time, that whisper grows. Without enough magnesium, your body starts misfiring, muscles get stiff, your brain becomes foggy, even your emotional resilience fades. So tonight, take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you nourished your body's rhythm, not just its hunger? Magnesium may be silent, but its absence is anything but. It's not about adding more, it's about adding back what's missing. Let me ask you something most people never consider. What if your brain isn't tired, it's just dry? See, your brain, that brilliant, complex command center, is made mostly of fat. And one of the most important kinds? Omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA and EPA. These aren't just nice to have. They're essential. Think of them as the oil that keeps the brain's gears turning. They support memory, stabilize mood, reduce inflammation, and literally help your thoughts connect. Without them, your brain starts to slow, your emotions wobble, and your body starts to ache, often silently. And yet, the modern diet has flipped things upside down. Today, we consume far more omega-6 fats, found in processed oils, snacks, fried food, and far too little omega-3. This imbalance creates a kind of internal friction. Your body swells, joints become stiff, the brain becomes inflamed, confused, and vulnerable. I had a viewer write in once, a 67-year-old man, former teacher, who said, "I used to be sharp, energetic, and easygoing. Now, I forget words and snap at my wife over nothing." Turns out, he hadn't touched fish or any omega-3 rich food in years. Once he added just 2 servings of salmon a week, and a clean supplement, his energy lifted. And so did his mind. It wasn't magic, it was fuel. When you're low on omega-3, your brain struggles to connect. Inflammation increases, risk of cognitive decline, arthritis, and heart disease all quietly rise. And the worst part? You often don't notice it until the damage is done. But here's the hope. Omega-3 isn't a mystery. It's accessible, powerful, and deeply restorative. It's found in fatty fish like salmon and mackerel, in algae oil, walnuts, flax seeds, or in high-quality supplements. So if you've been feeling mentally foggy, emotionally low, or physically inflamed, don't just blame age. Ask yourself, have I been feeding my brain what it needs to stay alive? Because without omega-3s, you don't just lose sharpness, you lose your spark. Let me ask you something simple, but powerful. Have you been blaming your age for things that might actually be fixable? A little more joint pain, a few more forgotten words, a night of restless sleep that turns into a week, then a month. Most people shrug these off. It's just getting older, they say. But what if it's not? What if these quiet changes, the fatigue, the fog, the tension in your knees, are not signs of aging, but signs of undernourishment? Not in calories, but in critical nutrients your body and brain desperately need to function? Here's what the science, and decades of clinical wisdom, tells us. These deficiencies are not random. They are predictable, they are measurable, and most importantly, they are reversible if we act early. But wait too long, and those little cracks become permanent. Joints stiffen, neurons die, memory shrinks, and by the time we call it a problem, it's often too late to fully repair. That's why this conversation matters. Because the truth is, you are not fading from age. You may just be fading from a lack of nourishment. And nourishment is something we can control. Let me leave you with the words of a man who lived, worked, and stayed sharp past 100 years old. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara. Your strength is not gone. It is sleeping. Feed it well, and it will rise again. So don't wait for the loud symptoms. Listen for the whispers. Start small, nourish deeply, and trust. It's not too late to come back to life. Before you go, I've got a special health gift I'd love to share with you. On this channel, I share simple, effective health tips, all based on real scientific research and practical, everyday experience. And if you'd like to receive a free gift, it's super easy. Hit the subscribe button, comment below, claim my gift. I'll send it straight to you. Don't miss out, because your journey to better health starts with small choices just like this one.